Hello, hello. I do not believe anybody is here yet, but this is the backup stream for the Clash 2022 championship match. If the primary stream goes down, this is where people will go. And it'll also serve as a nice backup VOD to have just in case anything goes wrong with the normal one. Dylan is still not on call yet. He's still getting ready, so we have this up actually earlier than the main stream. But for now, we're just going to be hanging out until the start of the match. Hello, hello! Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, I think we're working. I think we're on.
Yeah, I think we got this one working.
I was concerned because usually it shows me a little green circle when audio is coming from my end, but it wasn't
Yeah, just
doing
then
that.
it did the same little glitch for me. I'm not sure what that's about. Um,
We were like hearing each other, but not believing that we could hear each other.
on. Two, the second is in my backup stream right now. Two, you're going to want to, and anybody else currently in the backup stream, you're going to want to head over to Dalin's stream for now. His will be the main stream where we'll be monitoring the chat mostly. I have my stream's chat open just for stragglers or in case we fall to the backup, but otherwise that's mainly what where we're going to keep our focus.
Yeah, hopefully my stream will be bearable.
Oh, it should be all good to go. And just in case, so I have to go closer to, um, in about 2 hours, but I will leave the backup stream up when I'm gone, just in case.
Let's
And
just
you'll
see
still
what
be able to
happens
hear
with that.
Dolan through that. I'm gonna actually pull up
My music
Dolan's
is
stream so I
on.
can see his chat.
My chat. Hello, everybody. JigglyVonPuff, welcome. Wait, are they competing right now? They are.
All
You can't
right.
be on stream, Jiggly. Get out of here. Why is
All
my
right.
music not working?
So
It was so sad and silent.
today we have the 2022 Clash Championship match between JigglyVonPuff and Duat. Um, these are two absolutely fantastic players. Both have proven themselves time and time again and this is actually not their first matchup. Earlier in the tournament, in the divisions winner bracket finals, Duat defeated JigglyVonPuff as host, and this is the long-awaited rematch between the two. Um, this time they are switched around. Puff is hosting against his um, previous. I don't know how to say defeater. I don't think that's a word, but
Just a competitor.
yeah, against his fellow competitor. Um,
Safe.
and this is certain to be an interesting match.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be great. We're off to a flying start here with nothing.
Yes, it seems accent tiles are still being decided. I gave them the go ahead, but there's always just a little bit of delay in that regard.
Sorry, I got here like right at 9 o'clock. I should have been like a few minutes early, but it's just a lot of last minute things started happening all of a sudden.
No worries at all. You'll probably be here long after I am, depending on how long the match
Hopefully
lasts.
not too long.
Hopefully,
Hopefully
this
not
is
too
not
long.
another 4 hour match.
My gosh.
Regardless of the length, we're certain to see a great one. An even spread from Puff.
Playing it safe. All right.
I'm reading that one out now because I was surprised by what Adder did last tournament. And an even spread from Duat, sending his 5 directly out towards the center of the board. This is a common strategy that I've seen a lot and learned a lot about from Duat, where it's going to be very versatile. And if Puff falls for the bait of planting behind that moved out 5, Duat might just be able to secure a trap in the early game. I do not think Puff will, or if he does, he will have a clever turn on it, but I've been trapped many a time by Duat through that exact thing. Okay, we have a
I
mirror
don't
from
know about
Puff.
this trap.
Um,
I'm here to learn because I don't know about this trap you speak of.
so, with the 5 being able to move to the center of the board, um, planting behind means that um, if you're trying to get like an easy opposite gate ring, Duat can have an excuse to move that jade to the center of the board, and also block the potential harmony you have, and pull ahead of you, um, and keep that in place against the ring. Um, it's very difficult to describe without showing that. I wish I could pull up an example. But this game is already going fast paced. It seems there's no
Right.
time for examples. Duat moving to the center of the board. We'll have to see what Puff does in response. Both only having one flower on the board, no harmonies moved towards quite yet.
This might be one of the most obscure tournament finale starts to a match that we've had.
It's very much a strategy Duat brings to the table.
Gotcha. I'm gonna guess Jiggly's gonna wanna put a tile in, or they might mirror it. See what happens.
Definitely.
Is my hey chat, do you guys hear music right now? Because I don't, and I'm not
So,
sure.
let's see.
My hey chat, do you guys hear music right
No, I
now?
don't hear music from your stream.
Okay, that's sad. I'm not sure why it's not working.
And the chat can hear both of us just fine, I'm hoping.
Yeah, let's hope that.
And the chat can hear both of us just fine. It seems they can.
Always keep me informed, guys, and if unlike if I need to be turning someone up or turning someone down.
Puff planning a Lily down in the south. Duat responding with a Rose in the east. Duat's in a much more dynamic position right now. But Puff now has speed. We'll see what he's able to do with that. My guess is there's going to be just a harmony block. Yep, there it is.
Subtle but effective.
I wonder if Duat will mess with him and do the same.
This is a kind of early game harmony block that feels reminiscent of the counter to the classic 3-5.
Absolutely. And it's that exact block that that I was referring to earlier. Okay,
Oh,
Duat
gotcha.
electing to move out without looking for much harmony.
He's not setting himself up for much here.
But still, a very slow start to the game that I think will lead to a very dynamic set of positions later on.
We seem to have both players sort of looking at the long game very early on here. Because this isn't, unless I'm mistaken, this doesn't seem like the way that you set up a quick ring.
Duat is I would not say Duat is known for going for the fastest rings. His first rings tend to be full of lots of different tiles, um, and very difficult to block, as he can maneuver them around whatever you put in their way. Puff placing down a Rose in the east. That's going to be very easily blockable by Duat. I wonder what Puff intends to do with that. My guess is
You
Duet's
mean
going to bring a
easily
Rose
blockable
up
by,
and block the potential harmony there.
but if he blocks that, he's not really giving himself any room to harmonize, though.
Not quite, but unless Puff takes the southern gate. Oh, okay. Duet's taking the southern gate here.
At least he has
Allowing
somewhere to
Puff to make
harmonize
that
now.
harmony.
It's all about the southern and the eastern gate at this point, isn't it? I'm trying to do the math right now. Who's ahead here? Looks like Kelly got tied up with something on his end. Which means I have to try to be entertaining without talking to someone, which is hard for me. So I apologize, you guys. Um, yeah, let me know. Cool. We'll be back soon. Let me know, guys, where we're at with audio balancing in the chat. I'm sorry I keep mentioning it, but I'm just a paranoid person, I guess. Okay, we have a move here. That's the Rose out, Harmony, White Jade in. That's definitely very much expected. We're totally seeing this get set up here, right? So likely something like yeah, like that. Um, so that's a very visible ring now, and we're also seeing a visible ring set up on this side. Um, I'm. It's interesting that JigglyVonPuff is working with one of their sides on the total midline there. That could be detrimental. But at the same time, it's getting in the way of duets. Kind of a trade off there.
All right, back for now. Had roommates come back. They were watching the World Cup, and so
Oh, nice.
yeah. Dad Life says in my chat, Duat was the first person I ever played, and can honestly say no one else I've played since plays the way he does. So aggressive and puts a lot of pressure early in. Such a different way than others makes it very hard to defend. I could not agree more, and it looks like Duat is working towards that exact strategy now, although Puff is not far behind.
It's interesting. I was just talking about this in my stream. Like they both have very obvious setups starting to come up here. Like they both kind of moved in that direction where it's a bit more clear what they're trying to do. Um, but it looks like Duet has the advantage because like on a midline. Am I right in assuming that?
Yes, I believe so. Because even if Puff sets up a threat here, Duat still has a block there to where there has to be just an extra wheel done there, or it's much easier to double block that one. Whereas Duat has a much clearer move towards a ring that does not necessarily predict who is going to be more likely to win here. It's just where the positions are right now.
Expected white jade placement and slightly unexpected lily, but very smart placement of that as well. So while Duat has a much clearer setup going, Jiggly is already working on the second ring, which is
Notice how Puff is careful here to move his Jade not a full 5 spaces, but just 4, keeping it one above where Duat could easily just move his Rose up to block. Very smart play from Puff there, because Duat is known to really prefer those blocks.
wait, what's happening?
So was that were that Jade from the East Gate to be 1 space lower, Duat could move his Southern Rose up 3 spaces and prevent the
Oh,
harmony there. Um,
I do see that.
it's very common to see players tend towards when they move flowers out of gates, moving them the full amount of spaces. But Puff held back on this for this specific reason.
That's really planning into looking into the future there. It's really planning ahead because
Absolutely.
like moving that rose up is totally just like a random choice that Duat could make, and Jiggly's just taking control of whether or not Duat can make that choice or not.
And here is partially where we can see the advantage Puff currently has, or Duat currently has over Puff, because Puff only has 1 space right now that can be blocked, and fully prevent that gate harmony. But were Duat to make the same move, um, he would have to be blocked in 2 places. It looks like, however, with that move right there, Chrysanthemum going into the East Gate, he's going to try to, if blocked, which I'm sure Puff will block that ring threat, um, start harmonizing inside of Puff's ring threat, and possibly bring out a Rhododendron threatening to capture that Jade there.
Is you saying this is coming from Duat?
Yes.
Oh, because if that
Their
chrysanthemum's there, then
their
that's already
profile
starting to be
pictures
set up.
are on Discord are color coded, the opposite of the way their harmony lines are color coded in this game. So I keep getting them switched up.
Ah, dang.
Because Duat's is that light blue, and Puff's is a nice purple. But obviously Puff is host and Duat is guest here.
I wonder if I should do a different board and tile design. I didn't think about my board and tile design going into this stream or the last one. So then when people were like, "Ooh, I like your board and tiles," come on, wait a second. I'm just using the defaults. Should I have something more interesting?
I have the modern wooden tiles and the um classy Vespucci board.
Let's just play on the pizza board, yeah. Easy.
That'd be something.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm gonna move this
So
before.
if
Dang
we
it.
had had more time, I would have noted there. Duat did have a ring threat that Puff obviously saw and just blocked in a very clever way. Even if his other Jade near the center of the board did not have a double block in on that ring threat, the placement of that lily means that Duat could not wheel that away without wheeling aside part of his ring threat, meaning that that lily could hold its own in blocking a ring.
It's a basic block, but it's a smart basic block.
And out comes that rhododendron, just as we predicted there, threatening to
This is
capture.
you predict, you can only don't give me too much credit here.
Threatening to capture Puff's Jade, more than likely going to force it into the White Garden, and we will see what Duat plans to do with it from there. My guess is there's going to be a clash trap involved of some sort.
What I like about this chrysanthemum planted early and then rhododendron coming in, it's a much smarter way to threaten a tile out of the gate, you know? Because
Absolutely.
usually you put a tile in as a threat, and if they move, you're just kind of like, dang, well, what's that tile gonna do now? But now Duat can totally just use that rhododendron as ring development because he's got the chrysanthemum
And that's one
there.
of the big things he's fantastic at is um, using the setup for a clash capture to further block and develop the ring. Everything in this defense has more than one purpose.
Like you don't have to be an absolute genius to think this way. He's just putting in the extra effort to actually have plans more than one move into the future, you know.
This is also what uniquely benefits Duat in terms of alt win conditions, because this form of defense really focuses on pumping out tiles as quickly as possible. Meaning that if Duat can keep defending like this, he can quickly gain that speed advantage towards alts if things don't look like they're going his way normally. He and I have played a lot of no alts games recently, and those have gone a little bit differently, but he's more than confident and more than competent in the regular rule set.
Do you know how long these two players have been playing the game?
Um, I would have to check. Puff, I think, has been playing close to a year now. I'm.
I know he's been around for a while.
Let's check. Puff has been playing, okay, a little under a year. He joined the server in February of 2022, this year. Um, and he was a pretty good player from the start. Um, had sort of the normal, getting used to it when I was first playing him, but quickly developed into an excellent player. Um, and this, I do not believe this is Puff's first tournament final either. In fact, I think I've played him in a tournament final before. Let's see.
Oh wow. Yeah, I feel like I remember. I feel like I remember streaming Jiggly and not
Yes,
knowing whether to
yes, I
say
played him in
Jiggly
the
or Puff
Kyoshi
or
Island
JigglyVonPuff.
contest. He made it to the tournament finals in that. So he's no stranger to this. Puff moving into the White Garden, predictably keeping safe. We'll see what Duat wants to do with that rhododendron. I predict he might use it to bring out a Jasmine, but I'm not sure how well that's going to work for him, other than pushing him a little bit closer to alts, because it seems like Puff already wants to move that Rose to line up with the Jade that moved to safety.
Oh, it's really scared that you were gonna say it seems that Puff already wants to move to alt. And I'm like,
Or
what? No,
Duat
thank you.
Duat would be set up nicely for alts. He's currently closer to it. I only mention this because his playstyle means that ults tend to happen a lot more quickly than most other games.
Gotcha. Okay.
Let's see, how long has Duat been playing?
Is this because he moves out tiles quickly? Is that why it's much more moving to alts quicker like that?
Yes, absolutely. Duet's only been playing for about 4 months now. He's really risen to the top very quickly. He's
It's
invested a
always
ton of time into the game, and it's really paying off. His unique strategy has really skyrocketed him up to the top, with players like Puff.
it's always really scary when someone starts out playing like already as a formidable opponent. It's like, oh my gosh, where is this gonna go? But you just know that they're working off of like half just basic intelligence and just being a genius, and then it's like, oh man, I wonder how good they're gonna be once they actually like learn
Yeah.
some strategies from other players and stuff. Like, dang, this
And there's always that
it's
mix of
scary.
nature and nurture in there, where you can have some really
Yeah,
smart players, but really it's when they put in the time, like Duat has, and really like Puff has as well. They're both decently new players to be in tournament finals like this, taking down some titans. I know Puff took out Momo, who's been playing for years and has really proven herself, especially in that third place match, to be a formidable opponent. Um,
right.
and Duat, has beat the likes of Adder and, oh man, who else has Duat gone against? I know they had an absolutely stacked division in this tournament, and it wasn't easy for either of them. Let's see.
Trying to cue up some music,
Yeah,
but
Duets
I
had to
guess we
play
don't need it.
Minky, Rudaku, and Morbius and Adder. Um,
Those are all big names. Yeah,
Absolutely, and Puff has
those
um, beaten also beaten Minky, which is despite Minky losing to both of these players, it is incredibly impressive. Minky is a titan and really demonstrated an extremely high level of play this tournament. Um, Puff also took out the likes of Stoats in addition to Momo, another like huge player in this game.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So those are all the people they had to play in order to get to this point in the tournament. Then,
Two messaged me saying that I sound a little buzzy when I'm talking. Is that coming out on your end as well, Dalin?
um, I haven't noticed it. I'm not sure. Maybe my stream is picking it up weird.
I think I had some issues with my microphone when setting up. It didn't always have the connection I wanted it to. So, any in the chat who also are
I
noticing that, be sure to let me know.
I can't remember how it sounded earlier, so I can't tell if it's bad or worse, or if it's better or worse.
Just some commentary on the most recent move from Duat. It seems he is trapped, or at least nicely blocked out Puff's rose, meaning it's going to take 2 turns for uh, Puff to get that back in position. Although it seems like a desirable move from Puff already to just move that up and into the red garden here. Um, just looking at how things will work, getting that Lily out of the gate, he could harmonize and bring a Jade out into position as well.
Man, Puff is just getting blocks everywhere. This is intense.
Very, very emblematic of Duat's style, but Puff is handling it in stride.
I feel like every time I am starting to get a grasp on which ring they're going to be going for, they start doing something that makes me not think that anymore. Dang, they're just crazy like that. I I I discovered last night that the way to make my stream much more consistent and not falling out a ton is by making the Wi-Fi connection to my phone by just doing a hotspot, which scares me because I'm not sure if it's just gonna decide that I don't get any more hotspot anymore. That's that's a very expected move from me anyway. That is brutal. Puff can also still harmonize that play and be above all those styles, but that might be a little. He knows what he's doing. That Rose is about to just like get a full on wall surrounding it. That'd be funny. That would do it, wouldn't it? That's the way we play. Or at least that's the way tournament winners play. It's the way I try to play. No. We're not gonna do this.
Alright. Switching my microphone to just the built-in one. It seems my plugged-in microphone is just not working out for me here. So
Oh, sad.
served me for a good number of years, but I think it's either something with the microphone or the wire that I'll have to figure out. Hopefully, everybody can still hear me fine, though. Hopefully, everybody can still hear me fine, though.
I'm messing around with tile designs. That's not the one. Forgot they're bowling Skud tile designs.
That's actually, Gyatso designed those, I believe.
Yeah, he's the bowling master.
Hmm.
Might just go for modern wooden. That's always a good one.
Interesting! Duat going into the Western Gate here, but doing so mainly by bringing a chrysanthemum down and placing a rhododendron, threatening not to move inside of Puff's ring, but rather just to capture it. Gonna push Puff upwards and either. Oh yeah, it'll give Duat a free harmonizing opportunity here, and that's gonna work out nicely for him because the chrysanthemum after that is another clash threat, and it means that neither Puff's Jade nor Lily can block the ring threat. Very incredible play here.
Sorry, I'm processing everything you're saying. It's hard.
I wish I could be
Streaming
able
with
to draw
someone.
on your screen as well. That'd be pretty neat.
It's hard streaming with someone who is much smarter at this game than me because I feel like most of the time I'm just trying to keep up.
I think smarter at the game is maybe not equivalent to more willing to just talk and throw out predictions. I don't think all of mine turn out to be right. The last one certainly didn't. Other than the
Yeah,
flint in the West.
um I wonder if Duet has abandoned the more vertical ring here, or if that's just kind of on the back burner.
Well,
It's
currently
looking
he
less.
currently he has a ring
Actually,
threat for it.
that's one move away.
Yes.
That's a threat, isn't it?
Yes, which I actually did not
I
notice
realized
until
that
just
as I
now.
was talking. Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible. So, um Puff has to not only it I guess Puff either sacrifices that Jade or risks sacrificing that Jade or loses the game here. I don't think there's a way that that can be blocked otherwise.
Usually, you have to try to learn to play offensively and defensively at the same time. Um, Duat seems to be liking to play offensively and defensively at the same time.
My prediction here is that Duat probably won't actually go for capturing that Jade there, if it's blocked, unless the block prevents him from harmonizing with that chrysanthemum. Because he's got a lot of offensive momentum here, and were the block to just mess with the corner jade or the rose or something like that, he would probably just pivot to another ring, and getting another chrysanthemum into that western gate would mean he could have another ring threat plus clash capture threat, um,
Yeah, yeah,
making it
for sure.
keeping that pressure on.
It's really cool that he's able to give himself the opportunity to this start of a ring here, but also be able to capture if you want to. It really
Exactly.
just makes Jiggly like have to decide what he values more, you know?
For sure.
Putting someone on a fork in chess. Like they do this, they get this captured. If they do this, they get that captured. So your choice.
Absolutely crazy game so far. And I cannot stress how insane it is that we have two much um, newer players in terms of how long they've been around, um, duking it out in a championship match of a tournament that had so many giants in it, um, so many titans of Skud Pai Sho. We had Liam Keegi, uh, Minky, Yagalo, Momo, Adder, and I could just pull up this list. How I could go down through the participants, and let's see. We've got um 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Say around 11, not including Puff or Duat, um, of the already established top players of Scud Pai Show, give or take a few depending on your perception, um, in this tournament, and to have such new players really come up and beat this heavy of a competition is absolutely crazy.
It gives me hope for the PewDiePie show because sometimes you feel like the server and the community is dying a little bit, but then you see that people are still coming out of the woodworks and just like being they're making their own like legend here, and it's like, dang, we got more stories to tell. So
Absolutely.
very
There always
exciting.
seems to be more. Everything seems to come in generations,
Yeah,
which I think is just wonderful.
yeah. It was pretty wild having these fairly newer players in this final round. I when I was told who I was going to be streaming, I was like, wait, I'm streaming Jiggly and Duat for the finale of this tournament. I thought it was going to be names that like are much more established, but okay.
Well,
And
if for whatever reason you
watching this
didn't think
game,
they were established before, they've certainly established themselves by now.
now, I'm humbled. That was out of my mind. Right.
Puff rightfully taking his time and making this move. He's in a tough position. Oh, okay. Making a ring
A ring threat.
threat while blocking um Duat's, but very easy to take down. Duat can just capture that Jade there. But we'll have to see what
Yeah,
happens next.
this might now be a good time to capture the Jade.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, before I was like, why would you do that? But
Yeah,
now it's like,
I
yeah,
think
you know,
Puff's forcing Duat's hand a little bit here. Whereas otherwise it might
There it
be,
is.
yep, there it is. I would not
We're
be
good. We
surprised
can
here
predict stuff.
if Puff just took back that western gate, because it seems to be a very valuable one to hold right now.
That would be very smart of him, yeah. Because if he has that, Duat's chances of getting a ring set on that horizontal are crushed for the time being, anyway.
If anything, he might not even have to chain anything out. It might be advantageous to hold that top gate as well, control that sort of corner of the board.
On the other hand, he could put the Lily out, but yeah, I
It's
guess
just I'm not
holding
entirely
that might
sure
also
what
be a good
what
idea.
it would end up harmonizing with. Um,
What I'm seriously impressed by is we are on move 13 already, and not a single Lotus or Orchid has entered play.
yeah, especially I know Duat when he gets on the defensive, he very much favors throwing out just a regular orchid to wrap up the play, but it seems he didn't need to for this game, and was able to instead utilize clash mechanics to really just beat down that first ring that Puff made. But Puff certainly is not out of the competition. Has tiles on the board to make another threat. It's just going to take a couple of turns. We'll have to see how he moves towards it.
I feel like these players have demonstrated like, I don't know, smart of how smartly they can put tiles out on the board without having to resort to special tiles as that no special tiles are out right now, which means that they have been just able to keep like they don't need to be doing using that for hardware. Was I'm not really talking very well right now. I'm not sure how to explain what I'm
No,
trying to
you're doing
say,
great.
but like usually when I'm struggling in a game, I'm just like I have tiles in the gates because I'm trying to gate block them, and I'm just burning through special tiles. It feels like running off of fumes, but they've definitely both kept very strong and very fortified in the way that they're playing here.
For sure, for sure.
They're definitely not Iagalo types because you could be. Oh, incorrected. There we are.
Puff opting for a much more defensive approach, looking to deal a similar blow to Duat's um, ring threats with an orchid and with a lily placed in a much more defensive position there. I predict that Western Lily is going to soon see a threat from a chrysanthemum plant, but it just remains to be seen whether or not Duat opts to do that, and whether or not that ends up working out in his favor, if so.
Interesting that he didn't decide to take that Western Gate. Um, Although he did, instead of doing that, he did work on some
Yeah, it
defensive
looks like he's
maneuvering
not
without
going
really
for the
missing.
offensive reset there, and is instead playing a much more defensive game right now. I suppose that orchid would trap the rose, but or go on the intersection of where the rose would go to harmonize with the chrysanthemum, but I'm not so sure. It seems that Duat could possibly just still work around the threats that are made here.
Interesting that he opted to bring in the orchid when he had no tiles in the gates. Shows that he actually wanted the orchid there, didn't just put it there because he has to put it there.
Now comes the chrysanthemum, threatening to capture the Puff's lily in the western side of the board. Pushed up against the red garden, it's going to be difficult for Puff to keep that lily on the board without just moving it up to safety in that white garden. Doing so, however, would mean giving up more offensive positioning and would put him further behind in terms of moving towards his next ring threat.
Yeah, first you look at that and you're like, okay, it seems a little pedestrian to just kind of like hope that that lily stays there so you can have that perfect move where you both capture and get in harmony. But then you consider the fact that it's near the red garden, so makes it more complicated, particularly than you might think at first.
Additionally, now that Puff also has to worry about his orchid in a gate, he can't really do anything dynamic with that, with moving that lily to safety because there's nothing he can really plant outside of a lotus in a gate until that orchid moves out.
What's really crazy about these higher level games here um, is that you can't waste a single turn, because like I was thinking if I was in that position, I'd probably do some like basic move, like me moving my lily like two spaces down and just nothing else my turn with that, just so that it's out of contact with the chrysanthemum and I can move the white jade down later and start building that ring again. But I feel like that's just too much of a move that isn't complicated enough like to really further the intensity of the game. Like every move is like doing offensive and defensive at the same time. Like almost every move of this game has been moving offensive and defensive at the same time. Even
Earlier in
from
the
the very
game,
beginning, they were
things were a lot simpler, and there was a lot more time. But Duat has really been putting on that pressure.
yeah. Duat is forcing Jiggly to play very smart here. And Jiggly's doing the same to Duat. They're definitely just they're spiraling out of control, man. Hey, good to have you here, Georgia. George, I don't know what to call you. We chat regularly. I still don't know what to call you. Hey, and thanks for the follow. Got a few first time chats in the chat box today. That's fun. From big names too, from George and from Adder. Usually I'd have music, but for some reason that just seems to be on the fritz today. I don't know what's up with that.
I think here Puff's really got one of two options to focus on. He can either get that orchid out of the gate, or he can try to move that lily to safety. Um, Either way, he's still in a very tough position here. He moves the orchid out. Duat has the opportunity to just capture that lily, um, leaving Puff without any real good options to plant in its place. Um, but if he moves the lily to safety, Duat can move a chrysanthemum out, plant another one behind, still threaten it, and Puff still won't have pacing from having that orchid still stuck in the gate.
Jiggly can still move the lily to safety though, and make it so that that chrysanthemum won't be able to um, harmonize when it comes out.
That is true. Although, mm, because that chrysanthemum has not only the rhododendron,
It also has the
it
rose.
also
Just
has
saw that.
the rose it can work with.
Making like the
Of
only spot
of course,
that Duet.
Puff could bring up or down one of his lilies to either form a harmony, bringing a lily up, or just move to safety, moving it down. Um, to use clash mechanics to keep his tiles safe, but he's still left with that orchid and a gate.
Yeah, it is such a tough position for Jiggly on that left side when you realize that Duat can both harmonize with the rhododendron or with the rose, and making it so that the only place where Jiggly can move and still block both harmonies is one space down. And then that's just wrecking Jiggly's hopes of having any kind of tile development in that area because then there's just a rose in the way of that. So
And of course, there's
yeah,
still
that's
nothing stopping Duat from just moving that chrysanthemum up and behind the rhododendron to harmonize there and get
worse.
something else
Yeah,
out.
it doesn't exactly like uh, push the ring. It doesn't like push the threat as much, but you could easily just like put a Jasmine back in the gate, and then that's still in the game. I should work out something I can stream regularly during the month of December. I'm not sure what I would stream, but maybe just playing Pai Sho might be
It'd
all
be
I need to
fun.
do.
I might join you on a couple of those,
That'll be
depending on
awesome. Yeah.
how busy I am with finals and the like.
Yatso and I are currently working on the next video for our tournament.
Seems Puff has opted for moving to safety, although not blocking both of the harmonies as Dahlin suggested, meaning that Duat can easily just bring out a second chrysanthemum and threaten the same capture as before.
What was the purpose of moving to the right? Is what I'm wondering.
I'm not entirely sure.
Because it came with whatever greater purpose they might have had. It certainly came with a cost.
It's possible that Puff wants to move that further down when threatened again, and just bring that to the bottom in line with his lower lily here. Um, but what he would do with that, I'm still not entirely sure. I do see a possible secondary ring being built out of that, but it would still mean getting that orchid out of the gate.
Yeah, that orchid. Do you think that's holding Jiggly back quite a bit right now?
Um, the way Duat has played it, yeah, it is. Really, really brought it to his advantage. I think without that clash threat on the previous turn, Puff might have had a much easier time getting that orchid out and making it a lot more useful in some way, or at least worth the dead turn that it takes to get it out. But here he's going to be a lot more hard pressed to do that. It'll certainly bring him some defensive options when he brings it out, but he'll still have to use a turn doing so.
I'm noticing if you just like take it back and look at the board, it looks like Duat has a lot more pieces out there. I'm gonna count them to see if I'm right on that. Okay, so it's one more. He has one more flower tile out,
Hmm.
or basic flower tile, I guess.
Which Puff originally had more material on the board there, but
Uh,
with his early game sort of speed advantage, but with that capture, that key capture that sort of destroyed his first ring threat, he's now falling a little bit further behind.
Canola, you're in Texas, right?
Currently,
Yeah.
I am in Nashville because I'm at college.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Cool stuff.
streaming from
It
Vanderbilt
is
University.
epic.
I'm not sure if you can hear it in the background of my audio, but the tornado siren is currently going off. I
Oh, I
think,
just did hear that for a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's just a test. I very much hope it's just a test since it's early in the month. But on the off chance that it's not, you might see my stream quality dip a little bit as I head to the basement. My guess is that's just a test,
Gosh,
though.
that would be intense.
Duat originally moving down in line with Puff's Jade, and quickly undoing that, instead opting to make the same threat as before, but outside of harmonizing range, um, with the potential capture there. Um, saying quote, "I fat thumbed there." He must be on his phone. That's interesting. Dolan, you've played a tournament final on your phone before, right?
I think I have. Yeah.
That
Um,
was your final with Prone to Wonder was on mobile, wasn't it?
I believe that was the one I won, correct?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, the one I didn't win was on a computer. I was on my phone, and I know I can't remember if it was with Prone, but I specifically remember being on my phone while I was visiting cousins in Utah for a tournament game. And back then, the undo
Oh
move
God.
option wasn't really a
Hold
thing
on.
yet.
Let me just mute myself.
Okay, I'll keep telling the story. Back then the undo move option wasn't really a thing yet. Or not undo, but the submit move option, the submit move button. You could undo your move, but you there wasn't a submit thing you had to go through before the move went through. So definitely, a fat thumb was a big deal because I would be like, okay, and I press it there, wrong place. And I'd have to go into the game chat like I need a redo on that, need an undo. It was that was so scary. Yeah, playing a tournament game on a phone, that's one thing. Playing a tournament game on a phone where if you barely tap the wrong area, it goes straight through with no submit
Mm-hmm.
question. That's freaky.
Yeah. And I think,
So,
mobile is the entire reason undo move and submit move are there in the first place. I actually have
right,
submit move
yeah,
turned off because I started playing without that there. But it actually was there. Originally, it was just submit move, and then I think that got taken out in favor of undo. Um, and then eventually submit came back. Puff moving out is Orchid. Uh, Still having a Lily in a precarious position here, but um setting up for future development now.
what's great about Duat's position here is that one could say that Chrysanthemum planted behind it was a waste because I don't think Jiggly is very tempted to capture that Chrysanthemum.
Mm-hmm.
But Duat can capture the Lily and really not suffer much from it because that's a harmony bonus there, and that works out like pretty well for him. So
And there's not much pressure on Duat to make really, every turn count here, so he can afford even skipping that harmony bonus if he wants to. Just capturing that Lily for good measure and opening back up that opportunity to chain out harmonies and continue in offensive pressure. And it looks like, oh, okay, he used it to bring out his own Orchid.
Orchid plant. The orchid has entered play.
Which I guess works out very nicely for him, considering that there's Puff can't really put on the same pressure that Duat did when the first Orchid came out.
You know what I need on this stream?
What do you need on the stream?
I need an animation that is the like Smash Bros. Animation, except for instead of a Smash Bros. Character, it'll be an orchid tile. And whenever someone puts an orchid into a game, I can play the animation like a new challenger approaches. And I think that'd be great.
Maybe someday at a time where I'm a little less slammed with work, I can add that on. As of current, I think I'm very happy with the stream setup we've both collectively made, though.
Yeah, we put a lot of work into this. That paid off. This looks awesome.
This was neither of us had used, well, so I had never streamed before, but Dallin was also new to OBS in
Yes.
switching the setup, and we figured it out together, and we figured out a pretty good setup with it. I think I'm very
I
happy
think
with
it's
how it turned out looking.
I think it's funny that you had never used OBS before, and I think that's funny because I didn't realize you had never used OBS before, and the entire time as you put it, we were working together, figuring it out together. I thought you were just like trying to explain it to me the entire time, like Dallin,
Sometimes
trying
I
to
come
help
off
you
as
here.
a little too confident, I'm sure. Some of the things I did know ahead of time, things that aren't really OBS specific, chroma keying, that board in, of course, is
Right.
that applies to any video editing thing. And then the layout of the stream itself, I am familiar with doing that sort of thing. But in terms of actually laying it out in OBS, I had to download it myself to figure it out, which is why I was able to do this backup stream, um, because I had to figure it out myself.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome that we were able to just organically set that up like that.
For sure. When you disappear for 2 years, now I'll be able to do something about that.
You'll swoop in. You'll take my spot as the content creator of our server.
That, or at least I'll teach somebody else how to do it too.
That that works too. Yeah.
Puff
Okay,
going
we
for
have
the
a move here,
offensive
right? Oh my
pivot.
gosh, we have
Um,
moves in rapid succession.
Bringing a chrysanthemum up top. Duat quickly responding by bringing out his orchid.
Isn't it always so scary when you're playing any board game with someone and they make a move like directly after you make yours? It's like, oh my gosh, you knew what I was doing.
Is that an
It's
intimidating
so
thing?
scary.
I feel like I do that a little too often.
it yeah, it definitely messes with your head a little bit,
Usually
especially in
the
chess.
usually the way I set up, it's not usually that I predict somebody else's move, but it's like oh, well, does their move that they just made affect my plan? If not, then I'll just make this move. If it does, then I'll start
Right.
thinking about it. Puff really going for that offensive reset. I think this might work out pretty well for him, unless Duat really starts putting on the pressure. Um, Puff's going to be able to set up another threat pretty soon here.
He's definitely getting his footing back a little bit, that's for sure.
Absolutely. The moment that Orchid came out, he really was able to get a hold back on it.
Hey, the Be Real just came up. I'll take my Be Real on stream.
Imperial.
Be Real.
Interesting move from Duat there, taking the southern gate away from Puff, which Puff probably would have used otherwise, and also um bring the chrysanthemum up rather than down and making a mid lane forming harmony. Of course, still setting up for that rhododendron in the east to harmonize when moving out of range of that knotweed. Not too far fetched, just not necessarily what I was expecting. I think we're gonna see pretty soon another rhododendron being brought out in the um, west, but I suppose that lily down in the south is just for good measure to stop Puff's momentum. Puff would do well here to plant something in the west, but it would be very difficult for him to go anywhere with it, and it would force a dead turn just from both players.
The thing is that Puff can put something in the West, but Duat still has all the pieces he needs to build something anyway. He doesn't necessarily need that gate, so it
Exactly.
wouldn't be setting him back all that much. I always find it really funny when we have these um, harmony chains of harmonies that are just like we're going rhododendron, sugar xanthan to rose, sugar xanthan, rhododendron. It's like we're just going back and forth and back and forth. It's like it feels like such a long way around to something that could have been done with just 4 tiles, but that's just how it goes when
Okay, and Puff does it. Puff brings something out. A very dynamic position there. Even if that harmony is blocked, there's a lot he can do with that chrysanthemum. I it starts to build out a potential ring threat in the future if he follows that up with a rose.
this was definitely the only way Puff could have done that because like I said, it wasn't super useful for him to have that gate blocked, so to just block it for blocking purposes wasn't really an option. So having the rhododendron out and putting it in a chrysanthemum, that's super useful for him. So that was a smart way of doing that for sure.
Incredibly high level of play from both competitors here.
We're definitely moving into the mid game.
Yeah,
Not sure if we've already been in the mid game.
I think we're
We might have
solidly in
already
the
been
mid
in the
game at
mid.
this point. The moment that Orchid came out, I started kind of considering it that, but maybe even a little bit before when really one of the possible qualifying factors for it being mid game is when those first ring threats start to break down, or when somebody is forced in some way to pivot around without there being the same clear momentum as before.
Totally.
So that's a very subjective thing. Maybe don't take that as gospel. That's just kind of the way I see and divide that up in my mind.
Anything Cannoli says about Skud Pai Sho is gospel, guys. Come on. We all know this.
I have no comment.
Because you know it's true. George agrees with me. It's very nicking when someone automatically does their move in any board game.
Hmm.
I mean, it's panic all around too. Because when I do a move very quickly in a board game, I'm panicking because I feel like I've missed something.
Yeah,
You will see
interesting.
it. It's easy.
Bailey says they just woke up. Asks how this game's been going. Been going fantastic. Really incredible game so far. Um, it's Duat really dominated the early game in this, but as it transitions into the mid game, it seems Puff has got his footing back. Move from Duat here, blocking that out of gate harmony. Doesn't necessarily do anything terrible to Puff, but slows down that momentum towards a ring. Although there's a harmony they can make with that rose there that will do them very nicely, setting up another ring threat.
Who
We're
is
seeing
this?
Puff can
This is
bring a chrysanthemum out of the west gate to harmonize with his rose in the east, um, chaining
oh,
out
totally. Yeah,
another rose in the west to make another threat there.
that's two
Um,
moves away from a win right there.
Correct. I wonder whether that was whether Duat's planning on slowly baiting that out, or if that's a unintended
Something he missed.
consequence of his attempted gate block there. There's also always the possibility Duat tries to undo his move, but if Puff acts quickly enough, he should be able to solidify that. Really seeing the rope being
Seeing
tugged the other way here.
seeing opportunity for Duat going chrysanthemum on the bottom left, moving to -4, -1, and Rose on the right going down to uh, 6, -1.
Mm-hmm.
That's something. It's not much. What do you think is the best opportunity Duat has at this point in time for his ring?
Hmm. Ring wise, I am honestly surprised Duat moved so high up. Um, I think that really he might start by moving the not weeded rose into block. Yep, and there's another ring threat. Oh, I guess he
Right
can't
there.
move that not weeded rose in because that doesn't double block. Um, Puff with a solid ring threat here. Duat might just have to use an accent tile to block it. It's not. I don't think it's an absolutely necessary thing, but that might be his strongest option here, considering that he doesn't have a quick way to a ring threat of his own.
The only weakness I see in Puff's designing here is the fact that at this point of time, is the fact that he's got no tiles. Okay, whoa, that
There's the
came in.
rock. Yeah,
That was yeah. It's the fact that Puff currently has no tiles in the bottom left area of the board. The Rose is obviously trying to fix that, but Rock will hinder that movement as well.
be interesting to see how Puff responds to that rock there. If he just moves his rose into place for another ring threat, that move you suggested earlier, Dylan, where the chrysanthemum moves up to harmonize with the rhododendron, also blocks that ring threat attempt. So Duat has set himself up nicely here. A very, very well used rock. And of course, that rock cannot be
We
wheeled out of the way and is blocking both potential harmonies that Puff could use to boat
we
it.
love a corner block, a corner rock. Good stuff.
Corner rocks are the best rocks.
Strategy's been around since the beginning of Pai Sho.
Hmm.
Wouldn't be surprised if the ancient Pai Sho players on Reddit used the corner rock.
The rock actually did not always have blocking capabilities along the line as well. It used to be just something that you would just throw in there to block things. Um,
It's just as something to make life suck for them.
In terms of its intended role, it has been pretty consistent. Where it's really just to get in the way of things and block harmonies. The knotweed actually
Essentially the
in
same thing it does in solitaire.
yeah, the knotweed in earlier versions of the game used to be able to also have like the orchids functionality, where not only did it prevent harmonies, but it also trapped pieces next to it, meaning that you would effectively in one turn just take out an entire section of the board almost permanently. I don't believe that ever was a part of Skud Pai Sho, though. Just some of the variants that precede.
It's shaky to play bongos on it. Sorry, I got distracted by hand percussion again. So, what do you? Oh, there it is. I was going to ask what you believe the best course of action for Puff would be at this point in time, but Puff seems to have shown us his opinion on that already.
So no ring threat
Um,
here. Just moving the rows out. This does give Duat time to work on his own ring threat. I imagine it's going to have something to do with taking that northern gate and working inside of
that's what I was
one of
thinking. Yeah.
Puff's midline harmonies there. Uh, Planting a um, Jasmine would especially bring him close to two separate 1 and 2 threats.
So, do you think he's going to bring that Lily out for that the harmony bonus in that plant, or is it
Absolutely.
that would definitely be the right course of action? Yeah.
If not on this turn, very soon after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Visually, anyway, it looks like Puff has taken the control back from the board, and I think that definitely is the case here, as you've already mentioned. Uh, Interesting to see what Duat's plan is to try to regain control. The rock was definitely a good move. That might be the basis of that.
Mayuli says, I was wondering if they had made the ring threat, what possible follow ups for pressure Puff might have when it gets blocked. I think the reason Puff did not make the ring threat here is because there just were not that many pressure options, which is why he is taking the uh, slower route rather than just immediately going for another ring threat, because um, Duat could easily just trap that rose in the same way, or wall off that rose in the same way he did before, or develop his ring. There's just it would not have been as much to Puff's advantage there for that short term threat.
I'm gonna test something real quick. Hopefully, this doesn't break things. Hold on.
It does. There's always the backup stream.
Aha. Do you hear me still?
I do hear you still.
And people in the chat, did my audio quality change at all for my voice?
That'll take a
Because
few
I
seconds to get an
put,
answer, I think.
yeah, I switched something up, which made it so I'm not able to hear the music. So that's fun. Cannoli now echoes. Okay, I'll change it
I
back.
echo now? Ah, brutal.
Echo, say word. Cannoli, say words.
Words.
Word. Hopefully, it's better now. Ah, Mars has finally woken up. She was the one I test streamed with last night, and we worked
Oh,
out a
gnarly.
bunch of things that were, yeah. She played a game with Duat, actually. We were like, we need something to stream, and Duat was like, I need to practice
Ooh.
for my tournament. So we went with that.
And she hasn't played as often before, right?
Oh, no, she has not. She has pretty much only played me, and I've
Trial
been
by
trying to
fire.
convince her to. Yeah, I've been trying to convince her to play more people in the community. I'm like, you know what? How about this? You'll play Duet. Yeah, I
That's
feel a
tough.
little bit bad because it was painful for her, but lasted like 20 moves. Lasted about as long as this game has so far, so not bad.
Yep. So Duat makes the move, planting that um, Jasmine up top, 2 moves away from winning here.
It's an
And
opportunity to pluck, and it's ring development. Hello, good
a move
stuff.
away from a flash capture threat that I think he will make to threaten a double ring. Tough in a tough position here.
Flash capture. Flash capture. Oh, for the
Bringing out
Lily
the
that's gonna
Jasmine and placing
inevitably
a
come in.
Lily, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Double threat time. Makes me happy to see both the Twitch chat and the in-game chat being filled up with messages in my stream. It's like, hey, it's working.
I really love how those turned out looking.
Yeah,
You
I'm
still got
wondering if we need
the
to
Clash 2022 logo is a little scrunched against the sides there, but
see.
past
I
that
still don't
the
understand what you're talking about there.
so generally when you're making a visual composition, you don't want the end of the background to be at the same spot that the end of like one of your elements is. So like at the end of the last two in 2022, um the background cuts off, or the little background box cuts off right there. Um
Oh, okay.
and it makes it look like if we're on the same thing, that like the whole thing got cut short. I think if the logo's a little bit smaller, it'll give it a little bit more room.
Okay,
But
okay. I'll tinker with it. Maybe I can tinker with it right now.
you can
I'm
technically tinker with it live. I messed around a little bit with the design I had on it during the third place match.
I'm hesitant, and I'm guessing I would center it still then, right? So it wouldn't be just on the
Um,
left.
you can center it.
Oh,
You can
it
also
won't
align
let
it
me
to the
center it.
side. You have it both centered on that and aligned to the side right now, so it doesn't particularly matter what you choose. I have mine aligned to the side because it's easier than centering.
If I just drag it on my own, it automatically hugs the sides, so I have to go into the thingy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna center it 'cause I feel like that would work. How about them apples?
It's taken a minute to update, I think.
Makes sense. You're gonna see it like slowly inch into place. I'm
Oh
doing it one
yeah,
pixel at a
already
time.
looking much better.
Do you think we need like a line separating off the some kind of a barrier separating off the Twitch chat and the in-game chat?
So that was what I was originally gonna say is no, I don't really think so. I think the color coding on the Twitch chat separates really nicely from the in-game chat, and it's much easier to tell them apart.
That's
I
true.
think is
And do you think they need labeling, or are we good without labeling?
I think I prefer no
Like if we were to
labeling
label
since it's
them,
kind of clear what they are.
I could see it being like sideways words on the sides or
Oh,
something. Might be good.
apparently my audio's not doing too hot.
Uh, gone wild. My gosh. It sounds fine from my end. I'm confused how it could randomly change like that.
Mayhaps there's an echo still. I'm not sure.
Is it an echo? Give us some specifics, people.
Oh, suddenly got better. Who knows?
Out
Might have
there,
just
sweet.
been an internet thing where it was Discord kind of lagging.
That's possible, yeah. I'm just happy because I've managed to stay alive for how long we've been live now? 1 hour, an hour and a half, and no disconnections. So it's good.
Melee says it was doing distortion and echo until I noticed, but I didn't change anything, so I'm not sure really what happened.
Yeah, it's a good thing you fixed that, Canola. Good thing you noticed. You just willed it to not do that
Willed
anymore.
it to work better.
Yeah. This is how manifestation works, guys. It's for real.
Puff's still deciding what to do here. He's in a
Yeah, this
tight
has
spot, so I
been a long
definitely
time.
understand the indecisiveness.
Even though I told you it was unforgiven after the last delay. Wow.
Honestly, I think Puff's got a good option in using his boat early here, um, bringing his Eastern Jade up and to the side to harmonize with that Western Rose, using a boat to remove that rock, setting up another ring threat, this one a little bit more dynamic than the last, and also blocking off Duat's potential uh, win in two as well.
Why does the Jade need to go to the side as well? It could just go
Um,
up.
to block the harmony that can be made with Duat's Lily down south, because that's key to the threat Duat can make here.
Oh, gotcha. Because now we're playing offensively and defensively. So,
Yes, for sure. If Duat just outpaces him and uses a knotweed to block the threat off of a harmony bonus that sets up the same threat as before, Puff is left in the same position as he started in, But this way, even if he really, really gets shut down offensively there, he still made a defensive move that can bring him a little further forward.
Right.
I am surprised that Puff did not opt for a second boat in this game. I know he's a proud arbiter of it as an accent tile.
I did the second boat for a while. He's from it. I bet I'm the reason for his genius. True. True
Bailey
story.
says, does Duat not have a way to reestablish their threat while stopping Puff's threat? He does, but it would take much, much longer with that plan. Would use an accent tile and is much more easily blockable with that preemptive move than it would be if Puff simply waited for the threat to be made in the first place. This way, also, Puff might not necessarily have to deal with the clash capture threat that Duat can make up top. It's good for planning ahead, at the very least. Of course, it would get rid of his boat, so whether or not it's worth it, or whether or not he wants to maybe plant a tile in a gate to try to block perhaps a Jasmine in the south to block up that bottom midline harmony. Could work out in his favor, but it would be a much slower approach to develop offensively as much.
Do you think it's super necessary for the Rock to be out, or
If the Rock is not out, there's no offensive threat made by that move. Meaning Duat can still have a lot more wiggle room, but not an easy way to win on the following move.
one way that Puff might be able to play the offensive and the defensive when might not looking at the wrong thing. I was gonna say move the Xanthan on the top left to the right, so that the Rock isn't even in the picture anymore.
That is an
But
option, but Duat's other threat involves just bringing out that Jasmine and placing
right,
a Lily in that gate. Now, he could not do that on the following turn because he would have to focus on stopping that ring threat. However, I do not think that it's Duat can stop that and still have another quick ring threat to make, whereas if Puff blocks both of them, he buys himself a lot more time.
right.
As we wait, I'm gonna drop out and grab some water real quick.
Epic. I had a singular piece of toast today. Feeling strong. Yeah, that's what's up. That toast gonna last me through the entire day. Easy. I'm not on Cannoli stream anymore. He's on mine. But I think we can still djembe him. I don't think there's anything stopping us. Wait. I didn't miss a move, did I? I did miss a move. No djembe. What happened? The other white jade. The other white jade's in play. What's that guy doing? Oh my heck. So the rock was in fact voted. So we were right on that one. But he's opted not to use the jade already in the bottom right. This could be adding for some more dynamic play as we have more tiles available in that garden now. So that's cool. It's also could possibly open up an opportunity to move the white jade down, possibly. Maybe. I don't know. problem with this here though is it doesn't do Cannoli's blocking thing. The threat, the blocking of this thing going on. So it's actually more or less similar to what I was saying, where it's just kind of furthering his thing without actually blocking what Duat's got going on. Can't play as well. I like that. Gotta have it down. This Canoli leaves, and all of a sudden the game starts moving like crazy. Not weed blocking that ring.
The moment I leave, move gets made, huh?
Two moves get made, Canoli.
2 moves, brutal. Okay, so it looks like the rock did get moved and or removed, but the ring threat did not get blocked, meaning that Duat has just successfully blocked Puff's ring threat while creating his own.
It seems like Duat or Puff's only option here is to fill something into that northern gate.
That's also a tough break for Puff
Unless
because he removed that rock by moving his jade over into that southeast quadrant, removing his option to make ring threats with that jade in place of the chrysanthemum. It's going to be very tough for him to come back from that.
so yeah, Puff opted to use the other white jade,
And yeah,
which was
Duat has a ring threat here that Puff needs to block if he wants to stay in it.
There is a ring threat.
There is. It's a
Hold on, I'm gonna find it all by myself.
non-rectangular threat. See if you can find that.
Okay. Oh, I do see it. Yeah. That's awesome.
Very dynamic too.
Cool. Yeah. I wonder if Duat even sees it. It'd be funny if he did.
I think Duat does. That's I wouldn't put it past him to, or I wouldn't bank on him missing something like that. Puff's easiest block here is just to move that jade over. Yep, and there it is, forming a harmony, threatening a clash capture of Duat's jade with a rhododendron in the south. What does he plan on doing with that rhododendron if that jade moves to safety? There.
Thing, Cannoli. Absolutely nothing. Kidding. It is hard for that white jade to move to safety and still be in a great position, though. That's the unfortunate part about him relying on
It
having
is still a good threat,
here.
but it seems to only really do one thing.
Melee entered the stream, and ever since the Twitch chat become active again. Yeah, it's hard to really see much of a secondary purpose with that rhododendron, considering the fact that the only thing you can harmonize anywhere on the board is like some rando chrysanthemum on the top right, and that guy is locked up. So yeah, that's unfortunate.
it's very unfortunate because it seems to me like this was the move that Puff needed to make a couple moves back rather than just right now.
Right. I was honestly, it's good to root for anyone when you're streaming these things, but I was really just thinking it would be so cool if the tournament game ended with a non-rectangular ring. But oh well.
It's still very much possible, and I think with if Duat ends up coming out on top, I think it's likely that that's the way he will do it. That or alt win conditions. Um, but Puff's still in it. Cannot be discounted.
You're saying that both a rectangular ring and alt win conditions are both more likely for this for Duat's win
If
than
Duat wins, I highly expect that to be through a either a non-rectangular ring or alt win conditions.
interesting. Is this something he does often? Is non-rectangular rings?
At least in his games with me, that's those are usually the rings that he sets up. And from some of the tournament games that I've seen from him, um, throughout this event, he has really worked towards the same, only going for more traditional rings when the opportunity presents itself.
Gotcha. That's cool. So, do you think he's going to develop that right now by either moving the? There it is. There's
Well, there's
something.
a regular ring setup, additionally blocking future ring threats there.
It's
If
a
only Puff
threat
had
on the
another boat.
chrysanthemum.
If only Puff had another boat.
Puff's gotta be regretting not choosing the other boat now.
Yeah. But of course, um, in place of that boat, Puff has still a rock and or knotweed. He might have forgotten that. That he can use to his advantage here. Still very
Ooh.
very difficult positioning. Puff has a clash capture threat to contend with here, as well as a harmony ring threat. Um,
I feel it would have been much more effective for Duet. Well, I guess that he is blocking that harmony, which is nice. But if he had just moved the chrysanthemum one to the right, that would have
yeah, I'm
had
not
the
sure.
rectangular threat
I'm not sure why it was necessary to block that midline harmony there.
because he could have done two threats at once there if he wanted to.
Hmm.
Makes me wonder if he did see the idea or not.
Maybe it's because Puff can still just capture that bottom corner of Duet's ring threat. And so that additional threat
That's
being
true.
made is not nearly as important. In that light, the pivot makes a little bit more sense. And there it is.
There it is. Yeah.
Re-threatening it by planting a
And there that
jade.
is. This is getting intense, y'all. Threats all around. And the question now is like, what the heck is Puff gonna do with that rhododendron?
We'll just have to find out.
Oh boy.
I expect he'll move it up into the red garden there.
That would make a lot of sense.
Just barely to safety so that he can capture anything that Duat puts out with it.
If Duet goes here, that's within capture distance. Okay. Bailey says we are entering alt territory. No, I do agree.
I think so, but my guess is that Duet's not going to go for it just yet. It's a possibility, but not a necessity.
We're certainly close when it comes to the amount of tiles left in the bank, though. That's for sure.
Definitely. I think with a few clever blocks here from Puff, Duat will probably transition into ults and finish off the game, but he doesn't need to quite yet, and I think winning with a ring would be a much more preferable goal for him.
And keeping the pressure on with the ring while creating these harmonies is almost even more threatening than just pumping out tiles, too.
Absolutely. But I do agree, Maylee, that's probably part of why um, that Chrysanthemum blocked the midline harmony there. Um, it never has to be just going for ults or just going for the ring, but I think in terms of the two priorities, the ring is coming first right now.
Right. There
Rhododendron
it is.
moving up into the Red Garden.
That he left himself some space though. He put it a little farther up. The white jade is still not protected though when it moves to -3, -7.
Mm-hmm. It has the
I
option of
wonder if it
another.
would be.
Go ahead.
I'm wondering if it would be worth it for Duet to do something with his orchid.
I'm
Like,
thinking a another double threat here can be made if Duat moves that Jade out to harmonize, leaves it within capture range, but also within harmonizing range of his Lily, and boats away the Knotweed of his very first ring threat, leaving another double threat that can put a ton of pressure on Puff ring wise, and also gives him a lot more midline harmonies if it does go to alts.
where are you saying the white jade would move to?
Um, -2, -7, or -3, -7.
Even though that's still within capture range of the rhododendron. Oh,
Right,
because then there would be the
boating
threat of the
away
wind.
the knotweed there creates a secondary ring
That's
threat,
true.
so that if that jade is captured, then he can just win with the other one.
It's the old classic idea where it's like, hey, you can capture this now, but of course, if you do capture it, I do win. So your choice.
Right.
Daly says it's possible that Duet is going for it using their ring pressure to create alt advantage. I
Yes.
should open up OBS against these messages. And yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, keeping the pressure on with the ring really helps. Well, can be a good strategy for setting yourself up for a good alt win. Puff is not looking good on the alt front.
That might just be a side effect of the pressure Puff is under from the ring front as well.
Yeah, yeah. I just a little bit ago, maybe what? Actually, not too short of a time ago. I said Puff really has to finish now. I wonder how he up. Yes, how to up. Take it back. I thought that this vertical ring idea was gonna be weak, but he's really made it pretty fortified. It's been impressive. And Cannoli, you're boning away the knotweed idea. It's like such a good idea, but I'm worried that, or I'm thinking Duat likely wouldn't see it because it's kind of just random, you know?
It feels random, but it grants him a lot of wiggle room in there for both alts and regular rank.
And those are the best moves in Scud by Show, though, is the ones that are effective and random at the same time. That way you can't be predicted.
Correct.
It's interesting that Duat is taking so long in this move.
Really considering what to do here.
So if Duat were to do your move, would there be any way, because that's a double ring threat, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Would there be any way for Puff to stop both?
Yes, with a well placed rock, he could block both, but in that event, it still places Duat so much further ahead in terms of alts.
Right.
Interesting. Does not elect to go with that instead. Um, Seemingly really just setting up for alt win conditions with that move, keeping it out of range of the rhododendron.
That is very interesting. Do you think Duet is just like fully moving in that direction at this point?
Mm,
What's the purpose? What's the purpose of the Jasmine? Is my question.
alts. Um,
Where can
Moving
that
towards them.
harmonize?
It doesn't immediately create one, but not only does it work towards well, I mean, it can harmonize with that
It can harmonize, but not over a
rhododendron,
midline.
rhododendron, the rhododendron in the northwest.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yep, that works. This is the primary thing that gets streamed in our community right now is watching tournament games. Ugh. And we are moving into the grind of the stream where it's just moving into alts. We are
Doesn't seem like it will be the same kind of alt fight that we saw in the third place match. Duat is solidly ahead in those terms right now.
it's a very good point. Yeah. Um, let's talk about Puff. What are Puff's chances?
Um, Puff has a few options here. He can um begin to
There's a ring threat if he moves the rows down to the left and boats no boat.
he can hide that ring threat
Never mind.
behind blocking midline harmonies and forming his own. Moving a rhododendron below Duat's rhododendron, and then possibly interesting though, because his own he blocks that. I was gonna say on my stream could see vaguely what I'm thinking of, but it would take too many moves to not be spotted, I think. Yeah, I guess I think moving the chrysanthemum up in that and it does look like that is what he's going to make a last ditch effort towards as he starts to form his own mid lane harmonies and block duats. But will he be able to do it fast enough to stop Duat from just getting that alt win?
Find out next time on Cannoli and Dallin streaming a tournament. We haven't come up with a better title yet. Sorry. My entire streaming setup was moved from one room to another, so there's random things everywhere.
I think by now there is no way Duat is going to win with a ring threat his own. However, Puff still can if he sneaks one by. I don't know how likely that is, though. Chances are this game is going to end in alt win conditions.
Guess what I have?
What do you have?
Hold on. I gotta grab it. Oh. Monty Python's Holy Grail.
Hold on, I still don't see it on your stream yet. Oh, fancy.
Right. Okay. There's a bunch of little knights on the top. Yeah, I got this as an early birthday present a couple of days ago. My birthday is in July.
Huh.
It was from a thrift store.
Duat going for those alt win conditions, playing out the Jasmine and bringing out a Lily behind it, possibly threatening Puff's chrysanthemum, but not particularly needing to. Might give him an excuse to bring it down into place for a midline harmony and harmony that blocks a Puff still does have a rock that he can place in a good spot, but Duat has their
And
boat.
Duet has a boat. Yeah.
Easily just remove that.
This is quite a tight game, but says as he wins or is winning. Only 3 tiles left in the bank.
Puff not super far behind with only 5 tiles left in the bank.
True. Now I write that message. I was gonna say I usually try to root for the underdog in my stream, so I haven't known who to root for this whole time because that person keeps changing.
Hmm.
But decided not to say that because it's not really good to root for anyone on a stream, anyways. It's unfortunate that another game had to go to alts like that. I guess can't say that for sure. Things could still happen.
Yeah, well, it doesn't look like there's a ring possibility from Duat here. At least it doesn't look like he plans on working towards one. Puff still can pull one through, although it looks more and more obvious with each step he gets closer to it.
Is he going for that right now then?
Going for that ring would also get him midline harmonies, so I
So there
don't
it is.
see a reason not to. However, could also
Is
potentially
this
get
the
them from breaking apart. Uh, Duat's things
we're
with
talking
those that Jasmine in the south.
my brother in the chat. Hello there.
Hey, Red Bull.
See, my brother Bren made the account Bread Bull, but I'm guessing that my other brother Levi, who's more active in our Discord, is using his account.
Ah, interesting.
That's how it be when you live with this many brothers. Yeah, lots of using each other's account. Feels natural for high level games to go to alts, in my opinion. Both sides can catch most ring threats, so you'd have to find a mate, and those will certainly win without them. So, my question is it really all that tragic for the game to go to alts?
I think in this game,
Like,
no. I think that it was very clear that rings were the intended strategy here, making for a much more exciting game with that tug of war back and forth. Um,
totally.
I think games where alts are clearly the focus of one or both players tend to be a lot more dull. Um, but there's just something magical about the going for a ring as opposed to going to alts. It's why I've loved playing no alts games so much. As we mentioned on our the third, fourth place decider match stream, um, in a tournament you do still sort of need alts or some equivalent to prevent games from going on for forever and ever. But um, the games just are not nearly as interesting.
Um, my question is, can you have alt win conditions still in the rules, and but still change something about the rules to make it so that um, players are more incentivized to have their purpose be a ring before they go for alts?
As of present, it doesn't seem like that's entirely necessary. I know the majority of players in this community seem to care more about going for the ring, regardless of whether or not it's explicitly stated in the rules. Um, and you don't have to write literally everything into the rules if people play by rules of their own. Um, but were it to come to that, I think we would have to see exactly how the game developed and how we wanted to keep it fun in that regard.
Mm-hmm. Maybe the only thing keeping people from going to alts is everyone watching going when someone just goes for that the entire time.
I will say, if there's ever a branching meta where, Scud Pai Sho as a game changes to accommodate for different alts or not having alts or something like that, we keep a branch of the game going that does play with alts. We have to call it Salt Pai Sho because it's Scud
Salt.
alts.
That would be perfect.
I just think that's way too entertaining.
Salt. Just call it salt for short, you know?
Of course.
The fire version being called Fire. Sapphire Fire.
Dip and paddle opsicon.
My face is small. Whoa, I'm all big now. Is that too big?
Somebody made a move of my games. Can't check that yet. Of really taking his time to think through this move here. Understandable, he's in quite a tight spot.
He just, yeah, he needs like some really, really good moves here if he wants to save this for himself.
Absolutely.
That chrysanthemum can go up and around on the top
That's
one.
what I was talking about in terms of making another ring threat.
But you're right, it is very obvious.
Yeah. With accent tiles still in play, very, very easy to block. And very easy to do so in Duat's favor.
Maybe he can pull an adder and bring in a lotus.
Mayhaps. Not
Might
sure
be
if
a,
that'll work to his advantage though.
might be a little late for that too. Yeah, I'd imagine that would just be a quick capture from Duet. That's over. Unless you bring in the Lotus while doing a ring threat at the same time. That might be interesting.
Move has been made. Oh, ring threat made, and a rock has been placed, blocking two of Duet's midline harmonies, putting Puff temporarily ahead in terms of, well, tied in terms of alt conditions. I just saw the one up top, but very, very easy for Duet to stop. So we'll just have to see what he does here.
Imagine he just doesn't see the ring threat. It'd be funny.
That'd be an interesting finale. It's happened before, though. Given the time he's taking, I do think he spots it, though.
Can't be.
Duet could also stop it with as much as moving that rhododendron down just one space.
It's true. been quite a while, and yet we still only have 3 tiles in the bank for Duat. My stomach is growling. I
Hmm.
am hungry.
Getting to lunchtime for you.
Yeah, almost there. Doesn't help that I woke up fairly early and had only a piece of toast before streaming.
Hmm. I've got an event after this that has free food, so I'm not too worried.
You are vibing.
Hmm?
You are vibing.
Yes.
Free food. I've been told that is the one mission of every college student is finding every possible way to get free food every
Of
day.
course, of course.
My cousin was apparently the master of it. He would go to all kinds of random, like, free seminars with food at the end and stuff,
Hmm.
just so he can get fed. That's all right, Levi. I don't. I'll eat something after.
Haley says, I remember my uni tour guide very often saying the best price for anything is free during the tour. Tour guide could not be any more correct.
It's funny how absolute light shows of endings like this used to be like uncommon and like a really big deal when they happened.
Hmm.
But now it seems like that's just the end of every tournament,
Yeah.
and quite often throughout the actual tournament itself too.
Yeah. A lot of blocking options Duat has here. I can only assume he's skimming through and seeing which one to take.
He's taking a little while, isn't he?
He is. It's not an incredibly threatening position that he's in at the moment, so might just be looking to optimize.
Optimize.
Left down only to a wheel, whereas Duat has a wheel and a boat. Accent tiles are still very, very useful in pushing alt-win conditions. Um, we're likely going to see this does not end soon here. We're probably going to see those coming into play.
I'm waiting for the boat on the knotweed still from Duet.
Likewise.
That's just a free midline harmony right there.
Two.
Two, yeah.
I think it'll come
That might be a finisher.
Rhododendron going down for a block, and then Jasmine turn after harmonizing with that, and then that is what votes away the
Makes sense.
Ring threat and recuperated flashes. Although, no, that is not a ring threat at all. Because the rock being there blocks one of the harmonies of that potential ring.
That's true. Yeah.
But
That's
still,
not a ring threat
solid,
instead.
solid midline harmonies.
Yeah, totally. I said a while ago in the Discord server, I was going to be making a goal of going for Twitch affiliate, which is basically you actually start getting paid to do Twitch streams.
Yeah, it's like the
And
equivalent of YouTube partner, which I've gotten YouTube partner, but I don't think Twitch affiliates in my future.
I have recently, I think during the last stream, I passed up 50 followers, and
Really?
that's the one thing I needed the most for Twitch affiliate was getting past 50 followers. So I might be there.
I think a big thing with streaming or basing your content around Pai Sho is that your growth is somewhat dependent on the growth of the community itself.
Or at the Pi Show, yeah. It's like on the one hand, it's nice having kind of a safety net of viewers. It's like, oh, we have this group of people who's interested in watching this thing, so I can always just ask them if they want to watch it. Whereas people who are doing some other game, they have to like really work on the promotion side of things. They actually want to get some viewers. Um, but at the same time, it's rough doing show content because uh, even though I do have a bit of a safety net of viewers, there's really not many people active in the community. So very dependent on how much the community thrives.
Just a fair warning: if this game keeps going for about 10, 15 more minutes, I am going to have to dip for a little while, which unfortunately means I'll probably miss the end of the game because it looks pretty close to its end. Uh,
I I don't feel ready to be interviewing them without your smart words.
I'm sure you will do just fine. I think they will have plenty to say as well.
I was supposed to pick up Mars for a date at 12 o'clock. Not happened.
Uh-oh.
It's okay. That can be flexible. Duat could do a ring threat if he so desired.
Hmm?
Duat, if he wanted to, could be 2 moves away from a ring.
This is true, but I don't know if he'll go for that.
Yeah, likely not. Also, he still needs to block that ring threat from Puff, so definitely not going to happen in this move. Though he could still block that furthering the ring. No, can't. What is this? A rubber band before. It could be entertaining for hours.
Duat really taking his time. I'm kind of surprised by this because it seems like got a lot of clear options here. That even if they aren't always the optimal ones, each one still puts him in a great place. I think because speed, both game wise and time wise, is probably going to be his friend here. If he takes too much time, that gives JigglyVonPuff more time to strategize out and
Figure out
possibly
how to
counter
keep them.
something.
Yeah.
Whereas he's gonna have, however long Jiggly takes on his turn to plan no matter what, but by denying Puff that extra time to plan.
Oh,
Interesting.
here we are.
Wheel coming into play here. Making it clear that
Did
Duat
that,
is fully going for alts.
that's definitely clear at this point, yeah. And
But
that
not
wheel is
permanently blocking
definitely
that ring threat.
not permanently, huh?
Puff saying nice move in the chat. It looks like with a move like that this game is probably going to outlast my ability to stay on the stream. I will probably have to go pretty soon. Didn't find anything better. Interesting. Duat not finding another move that he liked. Because he really did not want to use that wheel. That's very intriguing, considering
He did.
that simple rhododendron move could have blocked the ring threat, and set up for some more harmony opportunities.
It's interesting how much both players are hugging the sides right now. Not much going on at the center.
Definitely, but were they to go to the center now, it would take them multiple moves, meaning
And you can't have that when you're trying to
and
quickly get some alt.
wasting precious time trying to get alts.
Yeah. I guess that's just the natural order of things when it comes to that part of the game. It's so interesting how different every game of Skud Pai Sho is because of the sheer insane amount of spots to move into and amount of tiles that can be used.
Absolutely.
Speaking of the amount of tiles that can be used, that Lotus tile not out from either side this entire game.
I'm not entirely sure it will come out. I don't think either of them can
No,
use it very well.
I don't think it will either. Yeah, I'm just surprised that it was never used throughout the course of the game. Oh, these headphones are getting uncomfortable. Been wearing them for too long.
I switch back and forth. I only have one headphone on at a time, and I hear it's on.
That might be the better way of doing it. Oh my gosh, my ear hurts. I'm like a pirate, switching which eye patch it is. Oh, this is weird now. I can hear my voice in my own room echoing off the walls. I don't know if I like this.
I think Puff's gonna take a while to think out his move here.
Yeah, afraid of that.
And I'm gonna finish getting ready and then hang out for a couple of more minutes and then I'm gonna head out.
Okie dokie. I think I'll just take a nap. What happened to my beautiful light? It died. Fantastic. Bring in the sunlight. Bring in the sunlight. I wonder if there's anyone that's going live that I can raid after the stream is done. Yeah. Well, it's not like there's any small channels exactly. But I could always put you guys on to some. Wait, MCC's happening? It's MCC day? Oh my gosh. I'm gonna miss MCC because of Pai Sho. What has my life become? You know what? I'm gonna take a break from the headphones. Hopefully, when Cannoli comes back, I hear him. So it'll just go through that. We're gonna count that. Cannoli has one viewer. How dare? How dare they not go to me? No, I get it. My it's bad. Get it. Did I miss a move? I didn't miss a move, did I? Whoa. Yep, still the wheel move. Oh, something I need to do. My brother's in the room and being loud. How dare? Something I need to do on stream while Cannoli's gone is open my advent calendar for the day. Sponsored by Trader Joe's. This is not a sponsor. You don't know what to think now, do you? Okay, we've got one, we've got two. What is this? The 3rd of December? Yeah, okay. Where's 3? Do you see number 3? Can you say praise? Hi, oh, found it. Right there. It is a ski. That is the chocolate for today. I can hear myself chewing with the headphones, so like I can't stand that. Cheap milk chocolate. So good. My hair's kind of flat. Oh, hello. I'm just gonna leave that. Hopefully, you can only won't be silent. We have a move at the beginning of the game. Hello. Walking off one of the midline harmonies from Duets. Oh, was that intentional? Did I miss something? Is ring thread or something? I need Cannoli here to tell me when there's a ring threat happening. Because I'm confused. I was like the equivalent of an "Are you sure about that" move. Bailey, you got anything for me here? That So there's no ring threat though, right? Why did Duet say it was that intentional? That's gonna ruin the stream if I zoom in. Does it go crazy? You want to do that? Wow. Yeah, it goes crazy. Now Duet just sounds like sassy, savage. Like, oh, I guess you really did mean to do that. Not what I would have done, but yes, that's just how it be. Ooga chaka, ooga ooga. There's another move. What's going on here? Almost looks like beginnings of no, that won't go anywhere. But sort of looks like a ring. I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. You hold me in your arms so tight to let me know everything's alright. Ah, got a feeling, I'm high, I'm believing that you're in love with me. Right. So that's what happens when you have a drum around. You can do stuff like that. Uh, at least I have my brother just sing with me in the chat. Everyone else is like, this is weird. But me and my brother vibing. Vibing. Okay, I should probably actually commentary on the game. Nola's not here, but that doesn't mean I can't do critical thinking. Come on, guys. Have some faith in me. Okay? Here. We'll see that rose. It's going to capture the jasmine. Capture and harmony. Oh, oh my gosh. It just has so many options to make harmonies. I don't know how Puff keeps up. Yeah, it's really unclear if Puff can save this because Duet just has, yeah, like I said, so many opportunities. Um, Currently, the standings are 2 midline harmonies for Puff and 1, 2, 3, 4 for Duet, and another one on the way. There's a little baby, the little Baby on the way there. Baby Harmony. How cute. When I zoom in like that, it totally messed up the chat. Sorry about that. Wait, did I get messages? Uh, I've been complimented for my singing over DMs. I know. I'm so good at singing. I'm so good at it. The truth is, I hate singing, but for some reason, when I'm on stream, it's totally fine for me to do it. I have no problem with that. I don't understand my brain.
Okay, I am ready, but I unfortunately do have to go now. Um,
No.
yeah, it looks like another move has not been made yet. Um, well, oh, a couple have, but
A couple have been made.
looks like very similar game state here. Um,
Duat said, "Was that intentional?" After Puff did their move, and Puff didn't respond. So Duet said, "I'll just assume so," and continued. When it was that intentional, I thought there was like a ring threat happening. I was like, "What did I miss?" But
it just
apparently, he
looks
was
like
just
a midline harmony being gone for there.
right. Yeah.
All right, well, I will head out. I'm gonna leave up the backup stream just in case, but I'm assuming nothing will go wrong with yours. But I'll meet myself on that. I'll meet myself
Cool.
here. Um,
Are you just gonna turn off the backup stream like when you get home or something?
yeah, so it's gonna be recording for a while. So hopefully yours works because I don't want to have that big of a file kept on my computer for that. But we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, see you around.
See you, Cannoli. Thank you for being here.
No
I will try to
problem.
survive.
Best of luck.
We're on our own, folks. I'm gonna see if that means I can switch my audio to make it so I can hear the music. For whatever reason, the way these headphones work, either I hear the music or I don't hear it. Puff does not see how they can win from here. I don't see it either, Puff, but I believe in you. And let me know if that makes it so there's now a echo on the music. Let me know if I just switched, I don't know what the switch did. Like there's a if I go into the audio settings when I connect my headphones audio, there's either headset audio or headphones audio. So who knows what the frick the difference is between those, but yeah, I don't know. Some comments from Melee. Thing is, that's not the extent of harmony threats opened up by the left move. In particular, the rose movement in the east allows the rhododendron in the northeast to create another in case it's needed or makes a dual threat. Rose movement in the east. Rose. Oh, I actually went to the. What? Go there. Wait, I missed moves. I totally missed moves. Hold on. Okay, there. That was the rose movement in the east. There, that's what she's talking about. Rhododendron down. Possibly still. I don't think that's still going for a ring. And then that rhododendron up. The Battle of Rhododendrons, folks. Is it just me, or is rhododendron the most fun tile name to say of all the Pai Sho tiles? If you have a better one, come at me. Put it in the chat. Is there a more satisfying tile name to say than rhododendron? I guess the D's can kind of all slur together, rhododendron. But if you say it with purpose, rhododendron, kind of sounds cool. You know? You know? It's interesting how close Duat looks to a ring here, but that's not quite what you want going on there. Chrysanthemum. That's true. Chrysanthemum is always a fun word. You ever read that book? There's a book called Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum. It's about a mouse whose name gets bullied. There's also some tile names and other variants, like Adaver has some fantastic tile names. Zinnia, Foxglove. Whew, hello. These headphones hurt like heck. Oh, I don't need to listen to the music for a little bit. My voice audio isn't coming from the headphones. It doesn't get quieter as I put the headphones farther away. I think I connected it to go to like the laptop mic or something. If it is coming from the headphones, let me know if putting them off to the side like this or there is a no-no. Okay, back at it, folks. Doing this. Should probably let's see if I can do some critical analysis here. I'm no cannoli that I might be able to. Oh, here we are. Orchid movement. Hello. That is blocking 2 midline harmony. You know, I thought he was just gonna not weed a while ago. That Rose. You'd think he would have just not voted away the not weed, but no, he opted to do that instead. And they've both been killed by an orchid. What's our standings now? We've got 1, 2, 3 versus 1, 2, 3. Puff has managed to even it out, which is impressive. Duat has, to my knowledge, more opportunities for harmonies. Especially that. I'm really not sure why he hasn't taken advantage of this yet. I'm also trying to see. There it is. Yeah. There it is. Now, Duat has taken his lead back. Added in the rhododendron, which can harmonize with that, but it's not a midline harmony. That is not weeded over there. So he has options with it. Not a lot of good options. But hey, he's just trying to get tiles out at this point. So, actually, I mean, if Puff can't remove a lot of harmonies right now, Duat wins next move, right? Because all he's got to do is put that out there, put a tile in. He's good. Got it in the bag. But Puff might be able to stop that. Might be able to block off some harmonies. Might be able to make some new ones. I'm not so sure about that one. The lily can be brought there. Or how did that help? That help? Or is this the end of the game? The end of the game. Right? Yep, that's it. That's it. All right. The win goes to Duat. We'll put a GG's in the chat here. GG's. That's right. Because I'm tired. That's what all the Z's are for. Oh my god.